Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's your boy Legend, and I'm back with another video. You already know what this is, just by looking at the thumbnail. Now, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it, so you can get more of this type of content. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this What If. It's been 3 days and we currently see 25 Narutos and 1 Ino in a training ground, looking and studying sealing. Naruto progressed at an abnormal pace because of his clones, while Ino learned at a more normal pace. But none of these Narutos were the real one. The real Naruto was on his way to the land of Earth with Anko. It was an S-rank mission, capture and kill the Stone Rhino. Knowing that capturing was in the mission parameters, they could only guess that they were to interrogate the target. Naruto and Anko were currently 150 miles from the Leaf and 10 hours from the land of Earth if they continued at top speed. But they stopped for a break. Naruto sat on a tree branch and let his thoughts wander, and Anko saw this as his hand subconsciously moved to his stomach where he was stabbed by Mondis. Anko sat next to Naruto, who only offered a what? What's on your mind, Naruto? Naruto was taken aback, mainly because Anko was showing genuine concern, and she didn't say anything sexual. Naruto explained his situation and near-death experience, and Anko could relate. Her first near-death experience happened when she was 13, and it was because of Orochimaru. But that was something she didn't want to talk about. Naruto noticed that Anko didn't smell as strong as Snake, but maybe it was just because he was constantly around her. But he didn't feel the urge to shove her away until she laid her head onto his shoulder, and he then pushed her away as she crossed the line with that. Meanwhile, Fu was sweating and panting. She was currently running for her life as she momentarily stopped on a tree to catch her breath. She was about to continue, but part of the tree wrapped around her ankle, holding her in place. She started to panic. There was no way for her to fight, and cutting the branches would take too long. She then felt the branch get sliced, and a hand rest on her shoulder. The last thing she saw was an oddly shaped Sharingan eye through an orange hole in a mask, and a black coat before the two of them disappeared in the fastest Sunshin known to man. If someone didn't know any better, they would have thought that it was a Hiroshin. Toby then landed as he looked around confused. Toby could have sworn Mrs. Seven was caught right here on this tree. The masked man then appeared in front of Toby with another lightning speed Sunshin. As Toby jumped, "Hey, you didn't use the air distortion jutsu like you always do." "Yes, I know. I came to realize that I'm over-reliant on my dojutsu, so I need to train my body more. Now, where is the target?" Toby narrowed his eyes. Something was off. For one, this guy's frame was a tad smaller. His voice was deep, but it was slightly off, like he was adjusting it. And this speed that he showed was something unseen. "Toby, where did she go?" Toby came back and answered as the man nodded as he left in the swirling vortex, quelling Toby's suspicions. Meanwhile, Black Zetsu came out of the ceiling of a building as he scanned the area before he smiled and sunk back into the ceiling. He started to make his way to the Hokage mansion as he stayed in the ground and spied on the conversation. Naruto is currently on his way to the land of Earth with Anko. Their mission is to infiltrate any stone outpost that the stone rhino could be in and capture and kill him. Now, I want you, Jiraiya, along with Sasuke and Ujo, to go and find the rat that put Naruto in the hospital days ago. We were lucky that he was smart enough to create decoys of the sealing scrolls he received, but his attacker was after them. I believe this may have something to do with Orochimaru. Zetsu smiled underground. He just got a nice piece of information and now he was about to take his leave and report back to Pain. Meanwhile, with Itachi, he currently sat on the edge of a cliff as a swirling vortex opened up behind him. His body went tense. This was the one person he had to kill no matter what. What is it that you want, Madara? I'm here because I wanted to be alone. Madara chuckled. Is that any way to greet the strongest living Uchiha, Itachi? Itachi said nothing as he slipped his hand into his new black coat that he was wearing. Come on. I know you don't talk much, but you always react to my taunts. Itachi's eyes activated as he stood and turned. Why are you sending so much chakra through your vocals? It's something that you always do, but you're sending more than usual. Madara chuckled. I'm surprised you didn't figure it out yet, old friend. Madara stopped sending chakra to his vocals mid-sentence as his voice dropped a lot. The voice was very familiar to Itachi. Itachi took a step back as his eyes narrowed more. Madara then reached up and removed his mask as tears came to Itachi's eyes. The man gave his familiar smile that he always wore. Long time no see, Itachi. Itachi stepped forward and hugged Shisui. How? I saw you fall off of that cliff. How did you get another Sharingan? I thought you gave me your last eye. Shisui laughed. Yeah, I guess I have a lot of explaining to do. Shisui activated his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan as Itachi was pulled into a white field. Itachi witnessed Shisui's life from the day of his supposed death all the way until now. Meanwhile, with Naruto, he stopped on a tree branch, causing Anko to stop as well. He looked at him confused. He looked as if he was processing information. Then he continued on his way, as Anko followed soon after. An hour later, night was approaching as the two stopped at a town to rest as they went to stay at an inn. Anko casually walked the streets of the mid-wealthy town, but Naruto's guard stayed up 95% of the time. He ducked off into an alley as he grabbed Anko by the waist and covered her mouth with one hand and signaled for her to stay quiet. Naruto peered out from the corner as he pointed. There were many guards of stone shinobi scattered throughout the streets. A count of 7 groups with 5 ninja each. The two ducked back into the alleyway as Naruto released Anko. Okay, Naruto, so what do we do? Naruto took out a scroll and a feather pen. Can you summon? Anko blinked. What the hell was he thinking? You want me to summon a snake? Here? Naruto looked up at her. No, a messenger hawk from Konoha. Anko finally understood, but she didn't know if Iwa had a censor among their ranks. But they had to send a warning, so Anko did the summon. On a nearby roof, a stone shinobi shot his head to the left as he felt a small chakra spike. And shortly after he saw a hawk flying away, he quickly took aim and shot it down. Naruto watched as he saw the bird fall from the sky. He turned back to Anko and gave her the real scroll, as she handed it to a snake that tunneled underneath the ground as the two ran off. Seconds later, the same Iwa shinobi that shot down the bird entered the alleyway with his bow drawn, but it was empty. Meanwhile, with Naruto and Anko, the two casually walked the streets without their headbands as to not draw attention as they made it to an inn. Anko, why are we staying here? This place has a great number of stone shinobi. Anko turned and gave a simple response. Simple. Because our target is here. He was among the group you pointed to. Naruto nodded as the two made it to the reception desk. One room, please, said Anko. Naruto looked at her like she was crazy. What do you mean, one room? asked Naruto. Anko seductively walked towards Naruto as she took him by the chin and leaned into his ear. "Oh, Naruto-kun, do you not wish to share a room with me, even in this circumstances?" She then licked his ear as Naruto got a shiver down his spine as he grit his teeth. He gently pushed her away. Here she was, with this weird shit again. He only read about in books that Jiraiya wrote, and he wondered why people did them. But here Anko was doing it to him, and it annoyed him. Not to mention, he had a full view of her curse mark that gave him a series of flashbacks. Fine. Anko gave a toothy smile as she grabbed the key. As the two went off into the room, as Naruto pulled out his blue book and started to read. Upon entering the room, Anko tried getting Naruto's attention, but her calls fell on deaf ears as he took a seat on the bed and turned the page. Anko got a tick mark on her forehead as she was trying to flaunt herself at the blonde, but he was paying no attention to her. She snatched the book from him and he glared. "What the hell, Anko?" I was mid-sentence. Anko wanted to see what had captivated the blonde, so she started to read out loud. Alright guys, obviously we already know what type of books Naruto be reading. So obviously you already know that I wrote some explicit things in this next portion. So obviously you know what's about to happen between Jiraiya and this made up character who took his cards the first time. So obviously I can't read this, so obviously I'm gonna have to skip ahead. So we will be back after the explicitness. Alright fam, we back and we skipped the explicitness. So let's get back to where we skipped to. Anko stopped reading. She then closed the book and read the cover. Itcha, Virgin Paradise. She read the description of the book that was on the back and nearly felt sick. She wanted to throw up this whole time. She was reading a intimate story of Jiraiya's first time. She was no longer shaking in pleasure or rubbing her thighs together, imagining that the two in the book were her and Naruto. "What the hell is this, Naruto? You have me reading this about the perverted signing." Anko took note that Naruto wasn't even bricked, which was a shock. She may not look it, but she was still a little hot. "I didn't make you read it, Anko. You took the book and started reading. I didn't argue because you read aloud, picking up where I left off. And I didn't know that it was about Jiraiya. I just thought that the author thought it would help if he referred to himself as the reader." Anko tossed the book and went to the bathroom. She had to clean up. Her hormones were flying and she needed release. While Anko was in the bathroom, Naruto snapped his head toward the door. The doorknob was slowly turning. Naruto quickly ran into the bathroom as he stopped Anko from turning on the shower in her fully naked state. Naruto spared an accidental glance as he placed his hand to her mouth in a shushing motion. The two heard the doorknob rattling before they heard the floorboards creak outside of the door. Naruto then went wide-eyed. "Shit. Was the window open when you came in?" Anko also went wide-eyed as they turned. The window was cracked open. The two looked at each other before Naruto removed himself from Anko. "Get dressed and ready." Naruto stepped out of the bathroom and closed the door. Then he felt a shift in the air pressure in the room. He slowly turned to see two stone shinobi by the window, and one of them was Brazier, the stone rhino, his target. The other was the same sensory nin that shot down the messenger hawk out of the sky, and he had his bow raised on him. "What are you two doing in my room? Brazier looked over at the bed and saw the leaf forehead protector and smirked. So, we have a leaf shinobi here. You must not be too smart to stay here. After that failed attempt of sending a message, Naruto was now sweating, not because he was scared, no, because he was using a lot of chakra to condense the air in the room to make it harder to move since the two had arrived. He wasn't as good as Tamari, but he could still do a lot of the stuff that she could do. It just took a lot longer for him. Brazier went to walk forward but found it hard to move as Naruto smirked. The guy with the bow took his eyes off of Naruto for a second, but that was all that he needed as Naruto quickly raised 2 fingers at the man with the bow, pointed wind. The blade of wind extended from Naruto's fingers as it pierced through the guy's heart. Naruto released both wind techniques as Brazier was able to move. He ran at Naruto, who wasn't able to move fast enough. He picked Naruto up and slammed him into the bathroom door while Naruto wrapped his arms around the back of his neck, cutting off his oxygen supply as Naruto was rammed into the door again as it started to buckle under the force. He was then slammed into the ground, causing Naruto to release his hold. Naruto then pulled a kunai to block a enhanced chakra fist before he felt a sharp pain in his shoulder as a earth spike was coming out of it. His arm fell limp as he kicked the man off of him. He broke the earth spike and threw it at the stone rhino, but he knocked it aside. Snakes then wrapped around him as Naruto looked up to see a fully dressed Anko standing over him. Naruto-kun, your arm. Naruto grunted. He still had half of a spike through his arm and it hurt like hell, but his arm was quickly going numb. Meanwhile, the stone shinobi that were previously in town with Naruto and Anko were given orders to make their way to Konoha. They were there to slowly strip away their defenses, starting with the walls that surrounded the place. They already knew the weakness of the barrier and how to get in undetected, but they were not satisfied. Meanwhile, Danzo took the letter from the snake that was on his desk as he read it. His eyes narrowed as he stood and looked out of the window. A force of that size could be difficult if not dealt with properly. He could send Sai, Neji, Asuma, Hanabi, and Ino. He could go and deal with it himself. He could send Gaara and 2 Saratobis, former Anbu. He could send Tsunade and Gaara. That last option would be foolish. It's not wise to send your best medic into the front line. Bring me Sai, Ino, Choji, Asuma, and Neji. Minutes later, the 5 shinobi all stood in the Hokage's office as Danzo briefed them on what they would be dealing with. Meanwhile, Jiraiya, Sasuke, and Ujiyo stood in a clearing. It looked like a fight happened here, and it had to be a brutal one considering the dry blood and strange black substances that stained the floor. Jiraiya was about to examine the strange substance before the air got thick and all of the animals went silent. Sasuke closed his eyes as he opened them to show the Mangekyo Sharingan. Itachi, I waited so long for the time of our fight. You will die by my hand alone today. Sasuke turned around as he saw Itachi in the air, in the midst of crows, looking down at them with Kisame standing on the ground, both in all black coats. I will die by your hand, little brother. How about you come here and make it a reality? In a swift movement, Sasuke had his sword clenched in a reverse grip as he appeared in front of Itachi, who smiled. Itachi fully merged with the crows as they swarmed around Sasuke. Ujiyo took a step forward but was cut off by Kisame. Let them settle the family feud alone and entertain me. You're supposed to be one of the strongest of the Leaf. Samihara started to wiggle as Jiraiya stepped forward. You're going to need all the help you can get. His chakra reserves can be compared to one of a Jinchuriki. Itachi manifested on the ground as Sasuke dropped down in front of him with his blade encased with lightning. You murdered our entire clan. and that is what you'll regret as you die. But guys, I'm going to end it off right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I'm out, and I will see you guys later. Also, quick little update. I'm slowly starting to feel better. Obviously, I'm still a little sick, but feeling better enough to upload. So tomorrow, I'm going to try to get back on the normal schedule of uploading daily. But don't quote me on that. I say don't quote me on that, but it's in video. But whatever. I'm out, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.